I'm going to start in the nail by a very basic question here. Why are stories becoming such a powerful medium of communication now? Has it always been that? And
It is all.
can you also help us the distinction between business storytelling and simple storytelling?
So, stories have been there with us from time immemorial. In fact, if you think about cave paintings, yeah, and one of the most well-preserved cave painting is in a place called Leroy in southwest of France. It's a bullfight. That has been dated as 35,000 years. Yeah. And why were people painting in caves? Because the human desire to share was there, but unfortunately, language was not yet born.
Mm.
Yeah. So human beings have been telling stories from even before language was born. And they use the medium of painting in a cave. And the fact is, because we have as a species been telling stories from such a long period of time, human beings are actually genetically wired and are born with an ability to tell stories. So, Nikhil, do you have children?
Yes, I do. Two Gen Z boys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so now think of the two boys when they were growing up, when they first were able to string a full sentence together. Yeah. What were they able to do? Did you ever hear them make up stuff? Like you walked into a room and there was something broken and you said, "Hey, how did it break?" Did they sometimes make things up for you? Like, so and so happened, or
Yeah, correct.
Spider-Man had come.
Yeah,
So
right.
they told you a story.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you teach them storytelling that, stories should have a context, a hero, or a climax? No, you didn't.
No, no.
You taught them mathematics. You taught them handwriting. You taught them spelling. You didn't teach them storytelling. Why? Because humans are born to be able to tell stories,
Sure.
right? So storytelling is not new. In fact, one of my favorite authors, Yuval Noah Hariri, in his
Yeah.
fabulous book called *Sapiens*, writes about the fact that human beings have become the most dominant species in the world because of storytelling. Now, what does that mean? As a human being, we are able to take all our experiences and knowledge and use stories to inform that experience and knowledge to the next generation. So the next generation doesn't start from scratch. Yeah. And because of that, they become more and more and more and more powerful, right? So the storytelling has been always there with us. I think what has happened and across the world, maybe about 15, 20 years ago in the business community, and more about maybe 7, 8, 10 years in India, is the recognition that because of two things, because of the complexity of information, yeah, and the amount of noise through which you need to get your information across, and actually a third, the lack of attention span of the listener, people have been figuring out what is a better way to get that message to be delivered. And slowly they've fallen back onto something that they already knew has great power, which is storytelling. And it's not that people don't do storytelling in business. They do it at the coffee machine. They do it at the canteen. They do it even before, in a meeting room, before the actual meeting starts. What are they doing? They're swapping stories. You know what happened with that client? Or you know what my boss said? Stories.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, as soon as the projector is on, we become this boring bullet point people. Yeah. And we know that message was not sticking. And so I think it is those three things, which is the complexity of message, the amount of noise through which you send the message, and the lack of attention span, that made people understand they need a better way to get their message to cut through and be memorable.